Hey Point students, this is Deron here, obviously, and I just wanted to start this video off and tell each one of you how much I miss you. Lane and I miss our Point students so much, and truthfully we miss the whole Point Church family a whole lot, but our hearts are hurting and longing to be with the students again. I look forward to a time when we can hang out again. I hope that during this time we can connect more, maybe in videos like this, social media platforms, different things, but really looking forward to us hanging out again and getting to worship together again. I wanted to make a video and kind of share with you kind of the why behind the social distancing and its benefits. Why are we doing this social distancing? I know this is difficult on everyone, but the social distancing approach I think is really taking its toll on our students. You guys are missing volleyball nights, missing Pulse, missing hanging out, youth rallies. So why do we do this social distancing? A few things to warn you about. This is a highly technical video. I use multiple different color crayons. I think I used 3 different loose leaf sheets of paper, so the technology is way up there. If you're watching this and you're blown away, pause it, walk around the kitchen a little bit, get your breath, and come back and watch more. And then a little medical disclaimer as I talk about social distancing and COVID-19. I'm not an infectious disease doctor. I'm just here to share my research with you and what I've discovered. And also in the health system that I work in, we've been saying that this is a very fluid situation. Things are changing constantly. So the data that I'm going to give you and the numbers that I'm going to share with you are as accurate as I can find as of the date March 31st, 2020. So here's the big question. Why are we quarantining? And why are we practicing social distancing? How is this helping? What's the point? Should I stay home? These are the questions I keep hearing. To answer this, we need to look at something called reproduction number. It's also called R0. And R0 is basically the spreadability of a disease, the spreadability of this virus for what we're going to talk about. Microsoft Word is telling me that spreadability is not a word, but we're going to use it today like it's one. So how easily can you transmit this virus? That's the R0. So the R0 of COVID-19, depending on what you look at, is anywhere from 2.2 to 3. We're going to round down. We're going to use the happier number, the better case scenario. We're going to use 2. So that means that if you have the virus, you can transmit it to 2 more people. A worst case scenario with the higher number, if you have the virus, you can transmit it to 3 more people. So we're going to go here to our first slide, our first high definition graphic here. The R0 of COVID-19 being 2.2 to 3. So you have it here. You give it to 2 more people. These 2 in turn give it to 4. 4 gives it to 8. 8 gives it to, I didn't feel like drawing 16 little stick figures, but 8 gives it to 16, and it keeps growing. We can see this exponential rise in the cases of COVID. Well, how does this compare to other things? How does this compare to the seasonal flu? Well, the R0 of the flu is about 1.3, and so we can round that to 1. So we're gonna go to our next slide. Our next slide shows that the R0 of a seasonal flu being 1.3, round to 1. So 1 person gives it to 1 person, who gives it to 1 person, who can give it to 1 person. So we see there's a linear approach instead of an exponential rise. So to see what I'm talking about this, we're going to go to our next slide and look at this one on a graph that I took out my TI calculator and I plotted you guys a graph. So here we have the 3 different areas. We have the R0 here, time. The green will represent COVID-19. So over time, we see this exponential rise going up as 1 gives it to 2, gives it to 4, gives it to 8, 16, 32. And this is the best case scenario that it could be 3, 6, 9, 27, something bigger than that. I can't do the math like that. Now, seasonal flu with an R0 of 1, we see just this nearly a straight line going across. So good point to make here is that the R naught is not a guaranteed number. It can be changed. It's not a concrete number. It can be changed. So our goal is to get the R naught to 1 or less than 1. So how do we do that? Social distancing. We break away from people. When we get an R naught of less than 1, we can see actually total number of cases begins to decline as time goes on. This is our goal. So that's why we're practicing social distancing. I'm gonna go back to one of my previous slides. Let's say that this guy here gets COVID-19, but he practices social distancing and he stays home. None of these people get it. That's the benefit of social distancing. Let's say this guy gets it, and he does. He goes out and he meets some friends. He goes to the store, does something, doesn't practice good social distancing. 1 gives it to 2. Now you have these 2, and this little piggy goes to the market, and this little piggy stays home. Now notice, because this one stayed home and practiced social distancing, this whole side of the graph disappears. These people don't get it. That's the benefit of social distancing. So yes, I know for you guys it's very tough, it's difficult to do, but I encourage you, you are making a difference by staying home and practicing social distancing. My goal of this video is to provide you guys with some comfort. And I don't think I've accomplished that yet. I hope I didn't scare anybody or upset anyone, but I wanted to give you some comfort. So I want us to take a look at Psalm 57:1. This is a psalm that David wrote. And David wrote this at a time when he was practicing some voluntary social distancing. Saul was very angry at David. He was very jealous of what David was becoming. And Saul was on a mission to kill David. So David quarantined himself into the cave of Adullam. He was practicing social distancing before we were. And if you can imagine, David's in this cave. It's dark. It's bare. There's no comforts of home. He's fearful of losing his life. He's emotionally exhausted. This is not the first time that Saul has tried to kill David. And it's safe to say that David was in a bind. But listen to what he wrote in Psalm 57:1. Have mercy on me, my God, have mercy on me, for in you I take refuge. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed. And I thought that was just so fitting for where we are. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed. So what I want to ask you guys, I want to share with you is, let that be your prayer. God, cover me with your wings. I want to live in your shadow, because that's where we're going to find peace. That's where we're going to find refuge. That's where we're going to find safety, is in the presence of the Almighty. So make that your prayer, and pray that over those around you. Pray that over your church family, those who are watching our live stream. God, just cover us with your wings. Let us live in your shadow. All right. Well, more videos to follow. Lane and I love you, and we miss you very much. And we hope to see you all very, very soon.